Hey guys, it's me, Troy, and today I'm going to be talking about the Exodus story. Now, I recently just finished a video about Joseph, and I've been continuing my Bible history. And for those of you who don't know, that started on my other channel, which is called Troy Dellinger, and now I'm continuing it here on my channel, Christian Studio Productions. That might be a little bit confusing, but I am continuing the series on this channel. So if you want to stay updated, to stay tuned on this channel. Um, so, like I mentioned, I finished the Joseph story, and now I'm in the book of Exodus, and it's perfect timing that I'm in Exodus because um, now we're getting near Passover. So I wanted to go ahead and cover this video while it's near the right time. So I'm just going to briefly be going on an overview of the book of Exodus, and I'm going to be talking about Moses and the Passover and all that kind of stuff in the Exodus story. So we all know, obviously, that the book of Exodus starts out with the children of Israel multiplying. Uh, the story takes place right after the end of Genesis, right after the death of Joseph. So now the children of Israel are multiplying, and there's a new Pharaoh that comes, and he doesn't really remember much about uh, Joseph, um, and then he kind of turns on the children of Israel. The children of Israel were given a lot of religious freedom and tolerance during the time of during the time of Joseph, when he was second in command from Pharaoh. But then they get a new Pharaoh, and he becomes paranoid that the children of Israel will multiply and be a threat to Egypt. Um, so he starts to oppress them, and he commands the children of Israel to kill the firstborn. Well, not the firstborn, but well, yeah, I think the firstborn. Sorry, I'm if I said something mistakenly, I think it might have been the firstborn. I'll have to check. But they want to kill the male. I believe it's not the firstborn. I believe it's just the male. But if I'm mistaken, I'll correct myself on the video. Um, so they killed every male child that was born from the children of Israel, and um, and that's what Pharaoh commands them. But there were some faithful Hebrews that refused the orders of the Pharaoh. Um, so Moses is born, and his mother tries to protect Moses, um, and puts him in a river, but under protection. And then he's found by uh, the daughter of Pharaoh, and then she raises him as his own. And then Moses is born into a royal family. But Moses sees the oppression going on in Israel. He sees the cruelty and the oppression that Egypt does to Israel. So then Moses wants to defend them, and so Moses takes a rock and hits a Egyptian in the head and kills him. And so the Pharaoh finds out about this, and then he wants to kill Moses. So Moses, he goes to the desert to get away from Pharaoh, and essentially forsakes the land of Egypt. So then later on, Moses would encounter God at the burning bush, and God would give Moses a calling to return back to Egypt, to bring deliverance to the children of Israel. So Moses follows through with this. He's a little bit reluctant at first. He doesn't have confidence in his own abilities, because he's got he doesn't think that he's the right fit. And but he's not commanded to rely on his own power. He's commanded to rely on God, and depend on God and trust Him. So eventually he goes into Egypt and confronts Pharaoh, and Pharaoh is very stubborn, refuses to listen, and the Lord sends multiple judgments on Pharaoh for refusing to listen. There are everything from frogs to plagues to turning the river to blood, to sending locusts. And even after all that, Pharaoh refuses to listen, and his heart continues to get hardened. So then we go to the Passover story where God essentially makes a judgment on the firstborn to kill the firstborn of Egypt, and they sacrifice the lamb and put the blood on the doorpost to protect the children of Israel, and they all are ordered to go inside. So, so the firstborn born in Egypt, they end up dying, and the children of Israel are protected, and then finally Pharaoh caves in and lets them go through. But even after they go through, Pharaoh still tries to essentially capture them and bring them back. So they run, and then Pharaoh and the Egyptians chase after the children of Israel, and then we know what happens after that. Moses stretches out his hand, and he relies on God and trusts God, and then God does miraculous things, and he parts the Red Sea, and they follow through, and then the waves crash back down onto the Egyptians, and Israel gets away, and then the children of Israel are delivered, and now they're free from the Egyptians. But right after the Exodus, murmuring started to begin, and they were out in the wilderness, and the children of Israel started to complain and be unthankful. And this would bring in a lot more problems as we go further in to the Torah. And then after that, the Lord would bring the 10 Commandments from Mount Sinai. But then it wouldn't be long where the children of Israel would break the 10 Commandments, make a golden calf and an idol, and then there would be judgment on this. Moses also sinned because he let his anger get the best of him, and he broke the tables of stone. Then they made a tabernacle, and that would conclude the end of the book, and that's where the Lord's glory and His presence would be in, and that would be the ending of the book of Exodus. Thank you for watching.